Talking about down and out. Well, I spent 6 years in Framingham Prison, and really that is pretty down and out. But it's not unrelieved. Nobody could go through that amount of time with that much grimness without having a little fun. So one of the things that we all did to entertain ourselves is when somebody got a package of new clothes that they'd ordered from the catalog or that their friends had bought, we'd all gather around and look and see what they had and ooh and ah, just like we were at the mall. So one day, I proudly brought up my box of new clothes, and on the very top was a really nice wool V-neck Benetton sweater, and I was showing it off to the women on my corridor, and Maria said, "Benetton! Benetton! In my country, women work 12 hours for 50 cents making clothes for Benetton." And in that moment, I could see the Maria who had actually killed somebody. And I could see the homicidal rage that was tamped down with psych meds and self-discipline. And I said, I wouldn't want to be an enemy of that woman. Now, enemy is a very special status in prison. It means that the prison administration thinks that the two people can't be alone together without somebody getting hurt. And they would ask me when it was my annual time to assess my housing assignment, "Do you have any enemies, Miss Power?" And I'd say, I don't have enemies. I'm not the kind of person that has enemies. But I did make one enemy in prison. And this is how it happened. Some of us would get time off our sentences for having a job or for going to school. And so my job was to be a tutor and help women whose skills needed to be brought up before they went into their regular classrooms. So Barbara came to me and she said, "I want to learn the times tables." Now, I used to be a teacher, and I was used to telling people what they had to do if they wanted to learn something. So I said, "Well, okay, we're going to work an hour in here in the classroom every day, and then you're going to drill for an hour outside, like in your day room or something." And she looked at me and she said, "I'm not doing the times tables in my day room." Now, I used to be a teacher, and I was used to telling people what would happen if they didn't do what I said. And so I said, "No, Barbara, you have to, because you can't get your good time unless you do 2 hours of school." And she scrunched her eyes and she clamped her lips and she picked up her stuff and she left that room and she said to me, "You better watch your back." And I heard that night that she went right down to the yard and she told her friends, "Who does she think she is? She got a little bit of power and it went right to her head. She's telling me I got to do my times tables or I don't get my good time. I have life without parole. I don't get good time. She better watch her back." So I had an enemy. And I watched so that I wasn't all alone someplace where somebody could come out from behind me with a knife. And that just became part of what prison was like. And one night, I was going up to this old building where we had our recreational activities, and I was going up for the 7:30 aerobics class. And all the people who'd been in the 6:30 classes were coming down the hallway real quickly, trying to get back to their housing units so they could use the phone or take a shower. So there was a real pushing surge of people coming out of that doorway. And I saw Barbara at the front of that surge. And she was being pushed, and the next thing that was going to happen to her was she was going to fall down those stairs and smash her face on the concrete. And I thought, that's my enemy. I could just step aside and let her fall and smash her face. But instead, I bent my knees. I put my arms out, and I broke her fall. I was helping her stand up. She looked at me. I looked at her. We weren't enemies anymore.